We finally made it to Friday on my week in the life, thank goodness. Hope everyone's had a good week. Here's what I got up to finish off the week. We started off with a site meeting at one of our projects. We were trying to close up the top 2 floors so plasterboarders could start. So it was a case of walking around with the drawings, making sure everything was in place where it needed to be, and just pulling up any snags before we basically signed them off and let them have those floors. All was looking good. It's just nice to have these little meetings to make sure you don't miss anything before people get too carried away. Whilst I was here though, I had a call out based on a socket circuit. Someone had plugged something in and immediately it just stopped working rather randomly, but I thought I'd go and check that out as well because it was fairly local. Quick plug into the socket tester and it turns out it was an open neutral. Now I knew this was a radial circuit. We'd worked on this house many years ago, so it was a case of tracking back, working out where the neutral had dropped and just trying to find it. Eventually came across it here and it was literally intermittent, and plugging something in obviously was going to interrupt it. Got that connected back in and everything came on all good. Little pause in the middle of the day to fill up both the van and myself because I was starving, and then on to the next one. Another call out this one. This was a kitchen circuit, which again the RCD just wouldn't reset. The customer had done a lot of the legwork on this one. He'd already taken off a load of sockets, done a lot of investigation, but it required the tester at this point. Insulation readings were all over the place on this one, but did the usual circuit breakdown and eventually located an area of cabling. Couldn't be seen, but it was definitely faulty, so it needed replacing. Got them back on, managed to swap 2 circuits round, so this was now on a 20 amp for 2 radials and the oven was then on a 32, so it's sorted out nicely. We'll quote the remedial work for that one because we basically need to reinstate that circuit and get it back to a ring again as it's the kitchen. And then the last one of the day was a quick pop in at the end of the day for a second fix strip to put some socket faces on and pendants and things like that. Instantly saw this one though and knew this would be a problem. The boarding had been cut out just a bit bigger than the socket, so now it was off centre. These things happen, so I had to try and chip away at some of the block work behind, see if I could loosen it up, and managed to move the box up a little bit. I thought it was still going to be a little bit too big, but definitely managed to level it off. And as you can see, got it to a point where it was at least central and filled up, and then it just needed a bit of caulk down the side, so now it can be repainted, but it certainly solved the problem. Quick tidy up on this one as we were approaching the end of the day and the end of the week, thankfully. Nice little finish on this one. We're going to come back next week though to liven some of this up, as some of these were new circuits that we'd run in from a previous trip. And that finally completes my week. Drop us a message if you've got any questions. Thanks for following, and as usual, follow us for more.